When I first got into collecting, which was all of about 6 seconds ago, one ad that YouTube consistently advertised to me was from Big Bad Toy Store, and it featured this Wolverine action figure from Mafex. They also kept advertising the Super Broly figure, and I love that ad, but that's not what we're here for. Now, after waiting patiently, not giving in to aftermarket pricing, and staying up past 3 in the morning to snipe this guy, I finally have him in hand. And now that I do, I can proudly say that this is the best. What's going on, folks? Kinda Collecting here. Welcome back to the channel. Now, if this is your first video, again, welcome. And if you've been there before, we're pretty much family now, so what up, cuzzo? Do me a favor and do all the things that help the channel grow. Like, subscribe, and tell your imaginary friends about me. If you don't, I'm telling auntie. This Mafex Wolverine has gotten a lot of praise since its initial release a couple years ago. And if you're like me and missed that release, the only option to get this guy was to drop around 200 bucks on the aftermarket to pick him up. Thankfully, Mafex reissued this figure with some improvements, and I'm super happy they did. This figure is dope. Take all the best features of a Marvel Legends Wolverine and upgrade them, minus one minor difference, and that's how I describe this Wolverine. The paint job on mine is flawless. The sculpt makes him feel like a superhero. He has every accessory you need in a Wolverine figure, though there could be more. And the articulation is amazing. There's a couple things I wish they would have improved on with the reissue, but even taking those into consideration, he's still one of the best Wolverine figures on the market. I'm talking top 2 and probably not number 2. When I took this guy out to write up this review, I legit had to pause and just admire all the work that went into his details. It's all simple, but crafted to perfection. And when I say simple, I just mean the costume design itself. It's a yellow suit, red belt, blue trunks, gloves, and boots. But it's more than that. The yellow is vibrant, the blues have a metallic sheen to them, the printed arm hairs look great, and the head sculpts capture the essence of Wolverine so well. Now, the blues on the shoulder pads and boots have a different shade from the rest of the design, but at least in the case of the shoulder pads, they're also a different material than the rest of the figure, so that kind of makes sense. That being said, I'm not pressed either way. I do, however, wish they could have painted the tiger stripes black this time around. I've seen a couple people paint their stripes black, and it just adds more of a contrast to break up the continuous yellow and blue color scheme. That would have been a really nice touch. And one of the biggest controversies with the initial release of Wolverine were his claws. A lot of people have an issue with the length of the claws, and I'm not one of those people. However, I do fall into the camp that wishes they were more curved and not just straight blades. But I'm not all up in arms about it. It's a decision that Mafex made, and they seem to be standing 10 toes down on that decision. With that though, that's one of the only things holding it back from being perfect. Now, the articulation is where this figure really shines, but before we go too far, let me issue a warning. Please be careful with your Mafex figures. If you feel yourself forcing any of the joints, just take a step back, heat the figure up, and retry it. Please don't go around breaking your expensive new figure. Or do, it's completely up to you. Now, normally out of the box, every Mafex figure I've ever gotten has had some type of leg tightness. Normally it's in the thigh area. This time it was in his thigh and his left knee. So again, heat up your figures, and I always like to hit it with this oil to wake up the joints. I'll try to link it in the description if I remember, but if I forget, just let me know. Now, the upper body movement on this guy is unbelievable. I know a lot of people had an issue with the bicep falling off on the original release, and safe to say, they fixed that. And I saw so many complaints about people thinking that the shoulders were backwards because the shoulder stripes don't always line up. And when I say don't always line up, I mean like they never line up. And what I found is that Mafex increased the range of the butterfly joints, I guess by extending the interior peg, but they forgot to resculpt the inner stripe to make up the difference. So now any movement on the shoulders break up the stripes dramatically, but they allow for his arm to articulate so smooth. So I'm torn, cause I love how easy it is to pose his arms around, and I guess that's the sacrifice they had to make, but they definitely could have resculpted those stripes. And initially, when I started posing around the lower body, I was like, damn, he can't really crouch down that low. But again, after I hit it with some oil, I was like, oh, okay, that's how it's supposed to work. The trunks do stop the legs from kicking up as high as it could go, which also limits his crouching ability, but even with that, his posing isn't hindered that much. So after the quick fix, I can easily say he's the most satisfying Wolverine figure to articulate. Marvel Legends is pretty good too, I can't lie. But instead of me just talking about it, let's get him into some poses. Now, Wolverine doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but he's got the essentials. So to start off, Logan comes with 3 pairs of hands. He's got his standard mink minks, 2 open hands that I can't really tell if they're reaching or grabbing, and of course his crazy long clawed fists. He also comes with 3 beautiful head sculpts. His standard stern face where he only looks mildly annoyed, a grrr face that should be included with every Wolverine figure, and an unmasked head that shares the same expression as the first sculpt. And I'll be honest, this might be the best unmasked Logan I've ever seen. The sculpt on the hair is clean, his eyes are piercing, and the wrinkles in his face are subtle, but they add so much depth to the sculpt. And he comes with a downed mask accessory that you can put around his neck when you switch the head out. It makes it look like he can pull up his mask like a hoodie. Now again, he has the essentials you need for a Wolverine figure, but if I had it my way, I'd add more deliberate grabbing hands so he can choke somebody out or at least look like he's reaching strongly at somebody, and a screaming head for when he's lunging into action. Now, this will probably be the last Wolverine figure I'll ever need, unless Reveltech does a 2.0 body. But from here on out, I think every premium Wolverine figure needs a screaming head. It's just such a important feature of this character. That being said though, those are the only things missing that would make this dude feel complete. So naturally, Wolverine is shorter than most other characters, so it's always fun to see how that translates in figure form. With that being said, let's jump into some size comparisons. And starting off, we have the most important comparison. First is the Marvel Legends VHS Wolverine and the Mezco Wolverine. And honestly, I might be in the minority here, but I love everything about this VHS release. The colors, the build, even the cell shading. Now, I wish the body was pinless, but you know, it's not. Height-wise, he's perfect though. And the Mezco's cool, but the size and cloth goods just ain't for me. Next is the Marvel Legends VHS Cyclops and X-Men 97 Nightcrawler. And if you didn't already know, this Wolverine's gonna fit in perfect with your entire X-Men Legends line. These 3 standing together look so good. And while he's on the screen, I was also able to secure the Mafex Cyclops reissue, so be on the lookout for that review too. Now on to the Mafex Age of Apocalypse Magneto and the Legends Ultron, aka the best army builder in town. If you ever want your villains to look even more imposing, just stand them next to Logan. But also, keep him and Magneto far away from each other because it's never going to be a fair fight. Next is my personal favorite trio, with the Mafex Spider-Man 185 and the Marvel Legends King in Black Venom. This lineup is what collecting is all about. Having your favorite characters standing together or squaring off against each other in your own collection. Love the scale here, love the colors, love the designs on all these guys. And now we have the SH Figure Arts Deadpool and Diamond Select Hulk. Again, a great scale, but the muted colors on Deadpool make me want to get a comic version. Somebody let me know if it's worth hunting down the 2-pack Deadpool with Bob, or if I should just pre-order the 80th anniversary re-release. I'm kind of torn, I don't know what to do. Here's a Marvel vs. Capcom comparison with Jada Toys, Ryu, and Mega Man. I think I want to narrow my collection down to mainly Marvel vs. Capcom characters, and these Jada Toys pair so well with Mafex and Legends. I love these scales. Two cats in a bat. Here's the Mafex Dark Knight Returns Batman and Revoltech Black Panther. These guys look great together. I gotta get around to reviewing both of them one day because they're both amazing in their own right, but this comparison works really well. And one more for fun. I got a couple more characters with attitude problems. On the left is the knockoff NECA Mirage Raphael, so many words, and on the right is the official NECA Chucky doll. If you ever see these three in the same room together, just leave. I guarantee you there's nothing in there for you. So all in all, the hype was real. As we celebrate 50 years of Wolverine, I'm so happy Mafex decided to bless the fans with this reissue. It is the best representation of a lot of people's favorite character, in my opinion. I always say no figure is perfect, and there are a few minor misses with this guy, but it's nothing that truly stops it from being great. Money well spent. If you get a chance to pick him up while the aftermarket is currently flooded, get him. I tried to put this review out before prices spike back up, so hopefully you're able to get your hands on one. Cause you never know when another reissue is gonna happen. Heck, this one took like 2 or 3 years. That does it for today's video. If you have any horror stories in your search for this guy like I did, tell me in the comments down below. I want to see who's really in the trenches with me. Stay tuned for the shots at the end. I'm watching you. And until next time, protect your peace, stay young at heart, and remember, we're all kind of collecting something. Peace.